Okay, I'm ready.
All right, let's pick our noses. Everybody, sit down and welcome to a very special day. Today is the first day, the first episode of, Maddie, could you give me a drum roll, please? The Margie Mays Show. Episode 1 featuring Maddie Poppe, the one, the only, and if you've been living under a rock, she also is an American Idol. My friends, do you call it season 16 or do you say it's season 1? Like, what do you say?
I call it season 16. Some people call it season 1, but I say season 16.
I always say like season 1, 2, and 3. I don't know why in my mind. That's like, you were on season 1, I was on season 2, blah, blah, blah. But people like try to get mad about that a lot. Like they're very—
Yeah, they do.
And they're like, honey, you weren't on season 3. And I was like, okay, I will just say season 18 from now on. So you are the season 16 winner / season 1 on ABC. So welcome from under your rock if you're new here to Maddie, also known as the other half of Margie. We've heard about Margie a lot. She was born on, I think it was November 10th, 2018, approximately. She was birthed between the two of us, Margie. We are very excited to bring her out and reveal her to the public today.
Oh my gosh.
I was like, who better to start with than Maddie herself? First things first, hello. Where are you coming from us from?
I am coming to you from Clarksville, Iowa.
Wow, I honestly know nothing about Clarksville. Like, can we get one fun fact? Like, do you raise corn? What's the situation on that?
I do not raise corn. Everyone else does. But a fun fact about our town. Ooh, a fun fact actually about my county. There's not a single stoplight.
Wow. Do you drive cars? Are you in wagons?
Yes. We ride horse and buggy.
I picture, and they're all full of corn. Why do I associate corn in Iowa? I don't know. But
because it's totally corn. Yes,
corny?
it is.
Okay. It's a corny kind of place. Someone once told me, I have one other person I know from Iowa, and they said, and tell me if you know this, that Iowa stands for idiots outside walking around. Have you ever heard of that?
I think I have heard of that before.
Yeah. You don't really associate with that? Is that like not Clarksville?
No, but the stoplight thing, like we have stop signs. So
okay, so have you ever driven a car in another city where you see a stop light? Do you know what to do?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Okay.
In the bigger towns, but in our county, that's a fun fact about our county.
That's honestly a really good fact, and that's interesting. And now I like really want to go and like whittle some corn. I don't know what a whittling would be, but we're gonna play a whittle corn situation, and I want to play at the stoplight. Okay. So, coming at us from Iowa, Ashton Kutcher just shouted you out on Twitter. Did you talk to him?
He did. That was crazy. I woke up, and you know when you wake up and you're like, you check your phone and not everything makes sense? Well, it especially didn't make sense when I hopped on Twitter after I had just woken up and saw, like, Ashton Kutcher tweeted you. And I was like, what?
Did your stomach flip? Like, do you care about Ashton Kutcher? Like, is he important to you?
I mean, he's like a big deal in Iowa, yeah.
Is he from Iowa? Is that the situation?
Yeah. That's the situation.
So you guys live in this Iowa royalty situation. Oh, you live in that arena together.
Yes.
Yeah. So we're going to get into how we met because it's a good story and people need to hear it specifically. And we've tried to tell this story before, but it failed. And it was, before the Rona hit the world. But the first time you actually messaged me on Instagram, it was a similar effect. My stomach like flipped and I was like, oh, this is years ago. It was like, oh my gosh, a celebrity. And then the same night, I guess because you followed me, fan accounts are stalking you and stuff. And then I got Lionel Richie started following you. And this is literally like 2018. And I was like, and it was a fan account, like Lionel Richie 1. And shat the bed there, really, this was a new world for me. Anyway, I would have really freaked out if Ashton Kutcher messaged me. I saw him once and Mila Kunis, and it was very cool. And I'm still not.
Really?
I did. He was in his Tesla, and I was in this little coffee shop that I go to. And I'm standing there, and I'm like, there's this little tiny girl in front of me, and I'm like, that's Mila Kunis. I just knew it, and then I started getting flustered because when you see someone that really starstrucks you and you sort of can't act like yourself anymore, you're just sort of like embarrassed, like what if I say something and then she hears me and I sound weird? It was that whole situation. I was panicking, didn't know what to do with myself, but somehow ended up following her out of the shop. And the next face I see, she's getting into her Tesla, and it's Ashton Kutcher, and he's got this mustache, and he just smiles at me, and I was like, All right, Dave.
Oh my gosh.
I was vlogging, so it was a great moment. So there's a couple topics that I want to get into today on this little chizat. The first thing though is for people that don't know how we met, like, do you want to tell a brief synopsis of the story?
Yeah. So Idol calls me up and they said, we want to do like a prank audition with you. We want you to be like a gothic girl and go in and prank the judges and pretend to be somebody else. See if they can, figure out that it's you or not. And I said, sure, that would be a lot of fun. I get there, I show up, they do my makeup. I look completely different. Black hair, dark makeup, all that. Then they bring me into the contestant holding room. It's where everyone sits before they're about to go into their audition. I go in there and I'm just kind of looking around like, what are they going to make me do? And they said, okay, how about you go and talk to that girl? And they pointed to Margie. Mm-hmm. And to be honest, my first impression was like, oh my gosh, this like beautiful blonde, very well dressed, very like with the times. You had like your scrunchies and your platform shoes on. Mm-hmm. And I was like, this girl, I just really thought you were going to be super judgmental. That sounds really mean.
I don't know.
But you just had this, you had this look that you were like perfect. And so I was like, oh my gosh, she's going to hate me. Whatever. That sounds terribly mean.
But terrible because that's also Johnny's first impression of me to some degree too, which is hysterical. Like the way he kind of describes it, he was like, oh, I thought you were going to be arrogant.
I just thought, oh, it's going to be like, I don't really know how to describe it, but
like one-dimensional or something.
Yeah. But then when we started talking, it was so unreal because I sat down and she was nothing like I thought she would be. She was so friendly and kind and nice. And then she was saying like, I'm nervous, which I wasn't thinking she was nervous because she seemed so confident just sitting there. And
wow.
And when you told me you were nervous, I was like, okay, she's like a real human. You know what I mean? She's not like one of these girls who shows up and thinks they have it in the bag.
Meanwhile, anyway, so whole character.
Yeah. So we sat down and we talked about it, the audition process and everything. And I was throwing her off with, I don't expect people to know who I am. I'm like G-list celebrity.
Life on the G-list. That's kind of a good place to be.
I'll take it.
Yawn.
Anyways, we're sitting there and I'm throwing her off. I think I mentioned something about myself. I said, do you really think that girl from last year, she won? You really think they were really in love? I said, her and Curtis, maybe,
You said Curtis.
And she said, Caleb and Maddie? And I was like, oh my gosh, she knows who I am. My stomach just dropped because I was like, this girl actually knows who I am. That is so cool. Aww. And then she was like, no, I think their love was totally real. And I couldn't believe it. I kept saying like, I don't like this Maddie girl. I was giving her every opportunity to agree with me and say, yeah, you're right. I just kept throwing this at her thinking, one of these times she's gonna agree with me. And she wouldn't agree with me. She just kept saying, no, I liked her. And I thought their love was real. And I was just like, this girl is one of the kindest people I have ever met. I left that day and I felt it was just such a cool feeling to know that like I gave this girl such an opportunity to just like drag my name and she didn't. And it just made me feel so good because I'm just used to like people that I don't know, reading bad comments about yourself.
Oh yeah.
Totally tears you down. And then after her audition, she came out and I pulled off my wig and then revealed who I was. And we both like freaked out. So it was really cool.
Well, how did you feel when I reacted? Because I started sobbing. I was like, it's ironic that we started talking about Ashton Kutcher at the beginning of this because literally I was like, where's Ashton in that moment? I was fully punked. And I lost my SHIT fully. I was the second because I truly, of course I knew who you were. I was following you on Instagram and I'd done my research for this show. I knew who you were. Truly did not recognize you after staring in your eyes for over 10 minutes straight. But the second you pulled the wig off, it was wild. Like I thought they kind of had me under the impression I was about to go in to sing. So I'm already about to pee my pants. My mouth's super dry. Then I see you walking out and the wig comes off. And then at that exact moment, I see Caleb behind you. And I just knew right away. And then I lost it. But I just remember the first thing you said. You like came over to hug me and you were like, you were so nice to me. And then I turn around and there's a semicircle of just everyone who works on Idol. So excited. And all the cameras in our faces. And I just like hadn't even sung yet for the judges. They just like made this perfect storm, like ready for, when I auditioned for that show for the producers, I didn't do any semblance of crying, burping, purring, any of the above, but like somehow that perfect combination of meeting you, it really set it up for a good TV moment. But we had a memorable first meeting. And did you ever think like, oh, we become friends? Or were you just like, it'll be interesting to see what happens to this girl?
I did, because this sounds really bad, but when I was talking with you, even after, like, you didn't strike me as a fan. You automatically strike me as a friend, because you were like cool and very mature, and you thought it was cool that like you were meeting me, but you were like human about it. You weren't like, oh my gosh, I can't even look at your face. Like
the best blessing in disguise was that you were actually in disguise when I met you. Like maybe I wouldn't have been cool. Like I remember meeting Carrie Underwood at the finale, and my jaw dropped to the floor, and I'm like, fan, right? And to me, I know you were like, I'm not Carrie Underwood, but in my mind you were. But see, I was under the impression you were an actress like the whole time.
Yeah.
That's what I said. So, and I was just trying so hard to tell the producers, please don't put me up to this conversation. I'm over it. And then thank God they let me finish my Doritos, and they still came back for me. No, I mean, that was definitely I think it was just at the end of the day, that was the blessing in disguise that I met you. And then like went to your show. I was like, am I stalking this girl? And then I don't know how our friendship bloomed, but it just naturally did, which is I am thankful for it. Anyway.
I think it's because I'm like really nosy, and I was like messaging you and was like, oh my gosh, you're so cool. Let me know how and then you updated me and was like, I got through this round, whatever.
And then we eventually started hanging. I don't know what happened, but it was natural. But I do think that did we bond? Well, here's the next topic that I just want to get into is one other thing that we share in common is obviously that we both dated someone on the show while on the show. You and Caleb, me and Johnny. That's different. I mean, I truly want to know what that was like for you. I know that you guys were a new couple versus Johnny and I were an established couple. And I assume you didn't hop on the show. This wasn't The Bachelor for you. Like you were handing out roses, and then it just happened. Plugging one of your songs, LOL. But I want to just hear what that was like as a new relationship. Like, was that harder or better, or were you closer?
Yeah. Well, when I first got on the show, I had dated a couple guys, and then I was like, you know what? I need to focus on American Idol. I don't want to date anyone. I want to be single. Went into it, met Caleb the very first day, and then a friendship just like blossomed, and we hung out every day. I didn't think of him as anything more than a friend.
Was this Hollywood Week this started?
Yeah. Okay. Yes. Yeah, so I didn't think of him as anything more than a friend. And something changed. Top 50, the night of Top 50, the performances. I think someone, I think it was Ada Vox, said like, you like him and he likes you. Why don't you guys just say it to each other in front of, call this out in front of each other? And I was just like, oh my gosh. And up until that moment, I didn't really realize I have a thing for Caleb.
Somehow Ada Vox it made you realize, and that was the moment?
Yeah, I just thought of him as a friend, and I didn't ever think of us as anything more. But he would flirt with me and stuff, and I think that pushed me away even more, because I mean, when you're first starting to date someone, you have to play the game, and it's like if they're too into you, it makes you not into them, and if you're too into them, they're not into you. It was that kind of thing. He was into me, and so I was like, oh, this is too easy. But then I realized no, this guy is so nice and perfect, and we're best friends. Why don't we just date? And so then we started dating, and it's been great,
You started dating, was he okay, after Ada Vox says to you, you guys like each other, was it I like you, you like me, and Caleb's like, Maddie, will you be my girl? How did that happen? Because there's a lot of details you just skipped there.
That's so true. That is so funny. No, we just kind of established yeah, you're right. We do kind of like each other. And then we started texting and Snapchatting and hanging out more just the two of us. And I don't know, we would flirt over text and stuff. It's kind of blurry. It's hard to remember. And then, gosh, I think we just started being more a couple more than friends. So this is so corny. This is about to be the corniest thing I've ever said. But
yeah, give me
the first time we ever kissed.
Oh, this is what I was going to ask about. Yeah.
I was so scared. I was so scared because I was like, oh my gosh, it's just this is like, it's just a nerve-wracking thing. And it was just a smooch. But let me tell you, this is so stupid when I say this, but it's so true. The first time we kissed, it was like, I do it like this, like two chickens. We kissed and there was something, it was like a magical feeling. And that is so stupid and corny for me to say, but Caleb, even right after, I will never forget this. Is one of my favorite things ever. For some reason, I was just like, oh my gosh, I need to be with this guy. In that moment, I was just like, this is it. He's the one.
Goosebumps. It's so cute to me.
It's so corny. But right after we like kissed, he looks at me and he says, oh my God. He says, there were like sparks. He says that exact line, and I was just thinking, yeah, there were, and we just both like felt that, right? Wow. And from that moment, that was like the moment I was like, I have no hesitation on this guy anymore. Like, I am supposed to be with this guy. And it was the weirdest thing, but it was like such a weird moment that I will never forget.
That's incredible. And like, I definitely know the sparks thing. I don't think that, Johnny and I first kissed was like sparkalicious, but there were lots of sparks preceding it.
Yeah.
One touch, you're just like, electrified. Oh my gosh, I can't talk to you right now. Whoa, there was a lot of electricity, but that is very cute. But okay, one more detail about that, because I'm detail oriented and you can't escape this. So where is the timeline from Ada Vox saying you like each other to the kiss? Because at the end of the finale was when you guys did this reveal. Like, when is this top 50? You kiss the day after, you're sitting in a hotel room.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to go through like my Snapchats, because that's like, they have the dates and stuff, but I'm pretty sure it was like Ada Vox tells us we like each other, and then it was like between top 50 and top 24 that the kiss happened. Cute. And then after that we just were dating, and everyone knew about it, but for some reason the world didn't even suspect a thing, which is just so crazy.
You thought you looked like cousins or something, so they were like, they're not dating?
Yeah. But we weren't even trying to hide it. Like, I kind of wanted to announce it because I wanted people to know, like, this guy is my guy. Mm-hmm. But he was kind of like, no, I don't want it to affect the voting. And I was like, what the heck? I want people to know.
Wow. Maybe he was like thinking like, am I a little more popular? Like, maybe like, I want to be like a single guy on the show. So like, I don't know.
Exactly.
That's another question for the Caleb monster. But I mean, those were good details. That floated my boat. And then was the show essentially like, we want you to tell everyone,
So, yeah. At first, I mean, they were very respectful of our relationship. I thought it was like really, really sweet of them. Like, for example, the other couple on the show, they outed them without, like, when Kate and Gabby were dating, they totally outed them without asking anything. And I was like, oh, that's not right. It was Disney Week, the second week of live shows. And Kate sang Kiss the Girl. And Ryan said, are you singing that to anybody? And then they just cut to Gabby in like backstage. And it was like, no, they didn't tell them. And I was like, that is not right.
That is weird. I mean.
And also, like, they had just like freshly started dating. They started dating between top 24 and live shows. So like when we went home on that break, they started dating, came back, and they were a couple. Yeah. So the second live show, like, this is a very, very fresh thing, and they just revealed it. And I thought, man, that wasn't right. And I hope that doesn't happen to us. And it didn't, because the morning of the finale, so the votes had already been counted. We didn't know the results, but Megan Michaels, who is an executive producer on the show, she came up to me and she said, Ryan found out about your guys' relationship.
Secret.
And I was like, Ryan didn't just find out from his celebrity friends. One of you guys told him, but whatever. Well, Ryan found out about your relationship, and if it ends up that you and Caleb are the top, like, she pulled us aside. And she said, if it ends up that you two are the top two, are you okay with that coming out tonight at the finale? And I was like thinking, oh my gosh, we're the top two. Like, I told Caleb, I'm like, I don't want to get my hopes up, but like, we have to be the top two. She pretty much just told us we're the top two. I didn't get my hopes set on it. Like, even going into the show that night, I had kind of forgotten about what had got that conversation, because I was just focused on singing my songs and stuff. And sorry, what was I saying?
The show was about, you were about to be revealed on TV. You forgot Michaels was like, you might be top 2. And then you were like, we might be top 2. But then the show starts, you're thinking about, singing. And then all of a sudden, are you top 2? And then Ryan reveals it? Like, is that?
Like I thought we might be top 2. But when it came down to Caleb was the first name called for the top 2. And then it was me and Gabby standing there. And it never even crossed my mind, that conversation that we had, because I was just like, I'm not going to get my hopes up. But then when it was me, I was like, oh my gosh, she totally told us this in advance.
That's like stresses me out a little bit, because that feeling, your heart is pounding, you're on that stage, and all of a sudden, because it's all adrenaline. I obviously wasn't even in the live shows, but it's adrenaline, and then you're standing there and you're like, holy crap, this is the moment they're going to call a name. And then did you say, Andy, you're dating?
It was like, okay, you have to sing this. And you know what's weird about it too is I almost feel like they had some sort of inclination that it was going to be us two because of the song that they picked. They picked What a Wonderful World / Somewhere Over the Rainbow. Oh. And that is like, it's a cute duet song, but I mean, it worked for us two for some reason. It was like, I wasn't like crazy about it at first, but now that I think about it, I'm like, it makes sense for us to be singing that together. It was right, I guess. It would have been weird. It would have been very weird if it would have been 2 girls singing it or like 2 guys singing it.
Or like Caleb and Gabby singing that.
Yeah. So anyways, right before we were about to sing the song, luckily the votes were all in, so it didn't matter if we screwed it up. And we used a teleprompter. The words were like up there for us because we would have never been able to do it without that. Ryan says, is there a special meaning to this song? And I was like, Caleb, take it away. I'm not talking. And Caleb said, yeah, whatever, blah, 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 blah. And she's actually my girlfriend. And I was and everyone just went crazy. And I was like, oh gosh. And I am so weird about PDA. Like, I think I've gotten better with Caleb, but like with my past boyfriends, I wouldn't be caught dead holding their hand in public. And I've always been weird about PDA. I think it's gotten better because like Caleb and I don't have a choice. But I remember I was like scared. I was like, oh, I got to hold his hand on national TV. And like, I don't know. I was just so nervous. I was so nervous to the point when I went backstage and checked my phone on commercial break. My dad had texted me and said, hey, you need to like show more affection. You look really standoffish to Caleb.
Interesting. And did they already know? Your family already knew at this point? Like you were like, oh, I'm dating Caleb.
Yeah. Yeah.
That would be a whole other layer, truly. Like when you explain it, it's literally to me, Katniss and Peeta from Hunger Games. And Ryan is that dude, and I don't know, but the host. And something about the stage and just like the way the balloons come down, and I just have that image of you standing there, you guys holding hands, and they're like, the winner is Maddie Poppe, and the confetti comes down, and it's very Hunger Games-y to me. But I mean, now fast forward, that was literally 2 years ago.
I know.
And you've survived like the whole time. You guys are so strong, and like you're such a couple to me that's like reminds me of Johnny and I. Like I feel like there's really that best friendship, and also obviously the romance, but like that best friendship, like we've talked about, this kind of comes first to a degree, which is beautiful. Like that's what I want. And so I was like, do you baby talk? And you gave me some good less baby talk, right? More accents.
More like 1,000 different characters. Like we'll just be like from the Jersey Shore. He'll just like walk in and be like a game show host.
Today, I can feel that so hard because it'll be more Johnny's like, today, this is your new name, Margie. And he renames me, and that's my new name for a couple weeks. And I get renamed like a pet, like once every 21 to 25 days. We recycle. The game show host is hysterical. I'm sorry.
It is funny, but
so beyond talking like a TV show host, because that's a special kind of relationship. If you've survived all this, I have trust in you both. Also, because I know you both. I did also hear, I mean, I am going to bring this up, and you can feel free, you can tell me you don't want to talk about it. It might be a little PTSD, but did Caleb recently, true or false, drop a piano on you?
Caleb recently dropped a piano on me.
On your body.
And Margie was one of the first people I told about this. I was painting a piano in the living room. Finally had I was painting this piano. It was like cherry lacquer red, but I wanted it to be glossy white. So I sprayed it glossy white. I taped the whole living room off with plastic and stuff. Finally got it finished after weeks. Rolling it to the other side of the room, and some of the plastic got caught under the wheel. So I said, Caleb, I need you to hold this up just an inch off the ground so that I can grab the plastic out from underneath it.
Right.
Well, he did it, and I was like, oh, that wasn't long enough. I need you to do it again. So he does it again. And I'm up, down by the wheel. And the whole thing, like this is the key side over here. I'm over here. The whole thing as he raises it up, it just slowly and then really quickly is laying on my neck and back. And I'm right here. And it is at like a 45-degree angle. And I'm screaming. Because I'm like this, and it's on my neck and my back, and I'm just like, I'm holding this thing up with my neck right now, and this is not safe. I'm screaming. Caleb doesn't know what to do, so Caleb quick lifts it off me. I run out from underneath it, and then he drops it, and it just, boom.
Is the piano okay?
I was thinking, oh, and we had just gotten it tuned and everything, and it is okay. It's okay, but I might have to get it retuned. Who knows? For what it went through, there weren't any chips in the paint.
That's pretty incredible. No chips in your neck, no chips in your back. You're okay. It was just hysterical to me because literally that night I went and watched, I was on a Father of the Bride kick. And I guess there's a scene where like Steve Martin takes like a Quaalude or some sleeping pill. I don't know what it was. And then his wife and daughter go into labor or whatever. It's a great movie. You should watch it. But they're trying to wake him up and just he's falling over and he's being dragged. And it was all, you would just give me this image of you flattened under the piano. I'm thinking you were a pancake under it, but it was just, it's a very good anecdote. And I just would like to end the Caleb saga with that one because the people should know. So I'm going to skip along because we've talked a lot about this stuff. And I just want to talk about the State of the Union right now with you. You're sitting in your Iowa. You're in Clarksville. You're shucking your corn. We'll never know what the verb is for that. And this is something I just want to know personally. Like, what's the Quarren Maddie routine? Like, what is she like? Like, what are you eating? Like, what's your most popular meal right now? I want to know.
If I'm being totally honest with you, my most popular meal, I wake up, I have a granola bar. There's very specific kinds of granola bars. And then I'll have like another granola bar throughout the day. And then another one before I go to bed. And like I'll snack on like some chips and salsa. Yeah. But it's very like snacky. Like I'm not having meals unless my mom like makes a meal. I'm not having meals. I'm just eating granola bars and some chips here and there.
And dips. That's honestly, I was expecting something more specific because the one time that we went to IHOP together and you know, when you go to IHOP, you get like pancakes or eggs or something and you and Caleb both got this like Southern like steak fried chicken situation. Never seen someone ever order that in my life. So I figured you'd be eating something different, but it's good to know that's pretty much what I'm doing. It's a lot of snacking, a lot of dips. Like the first thing on, I got this artichoke dip.
Ooh.
Fuego. I mean, I just love that. That's interesting to me. Okay. So I've talked your face off or I've asked you a million questions. Anything you want to plug right now? I know you have a clothing collab happening right now. Do you want to plug that?
So I have a collaboration, my first ever like collaboration. I've done brand deals before, but this is the first product I've been involved in. It is with a brand called Swoveralls. And well, it's a brand called The Great Fantastic, but they make a product called Swoveralls and they are sweatpant overalls and they are so comfy. You should check them out. They are awesome. I have about 5 or 6 pairs now, but we're making the first ever Swovie shorts. So they're sweatpant overall shorts and they are tie-dye and they're going to have like a little Maddie Poppe tag on them. I'm very excited.
That's very cool. Like that's a big deal. Like you don't really think that's ever even something that's ever going to happen for you.
Never.
You have Swoveralls and they're freaking cute. They're very cute.
Thank you.
I'm very proud of you. And I need a pair of those. So
I'll hit you up with a pair.
Okay, we can find Maddie Poppe anywhere. YouTube, Instagram. She's popping off on those places at Maddie Poppe. Check out the Swoveralls. Check her out.
Wait, I should say something to end. Thank you, Margie, for having me on your first episode of the Margie Mays Show. Wow, this is a pivotal moment. Anyway, so I just want to say thank you. And I hope that you have the very best ever career because you deserve it more than like anyone I know.
Oh, didn't get chills on that one. So no chills for myself, but I thank you and seriously thank you for being the biggest and the best and the first to come on the show for me. I'm making it a show. It's just starting out as a show. You know, it's a YouTube series for now, but there's big things in the works. But truly, this was really hilarious. Okay, just give a wave goodbye. Bye, guys. Come
Bye.
On. Time. All right, we're done. Welcome.
Hold on. Sorry, did I have a little bit of music?
this is Carrie Underwood, basically. So like,
hey, I am so sorry. Caleb's coming in with a text really quick. Can we just cut this part out?
All right, Caleb. Really, Caleb? I'm just kidding. Oh, no.
Here, let me wipe this off.